The candidates in Indiana's 2nd Congressional District, covering most of northern Indiana.
Incumbent Jackie Walorski, on the Republican side of the ballot, has been in that 2nd district seat since 2013. Congresswoman Walorski was born and raised in the district. She's got a passion for serving veterans in the area and bolstering the local RV industry. On the other side of the ticket, challenging Walorski, is Democrat Pat Hackett. She has spent 40 years in the district in a variety of roles. From professor to trial attorney, she says she's running to bring the district's interests, like education and healthcare, straight to Washington, D.C.
It is such an honor to stand before you tonight and stand with you as we fight for the values of our country and as I continue to fight for you. I'm a longtime born Hoosier right here. I come from a blue-collar family.
I'm Pat Hackett, and I'm running for Congress because I believe in dignity and justice for all, not the few. And I'm also running for Congress because the House of Representatives is the people's house, and we must reclaim our voice and values in Washington.
Indiana is getting some big financial help to fight the opioid epidemic in rural areas. The state has been awarded 6 grants worth $200,000 each. Some of that money will go toward mental health treatment centers. Federal officials say rural opioid users are more likely to be uninsured, less educated, and have a lower income compared to those in urban areas. Indiana's funding is part of a $24 million plan for 40 states.
In our continuing Addicted America coverage, the opioid crisis continues to plague the country and Michiana.
Olcott County is continuing to fight back against the opioid crisis. Tonight, state and local leaders will lead a discussion in an effort to prevent more lives from being lost.
Our Addicted America coverage continues in Marshall County. The county's health department says they saw a spike in overdoses over Thanksgiving. The St. Joseph County Board of Health preparing for a possible health outbreak while fighting the opioid epidemic. Fallout from the opioid crisis could lead to other health emergencies, like a rise in HIV.
Pat Hackett and Jackie Walorski both recognize the opioid crisis as an issue facing the district that requires congressional efforts to alleviate. While they agree the issue of people dying and being impacted by opioids needs to be resolved, they envision different solutions. They do agree that change must come via legislation. However, aside from this position on the opioid crisis, the candidates agree on nothing else.
There was just a different message on almost every issue area, with Representative Walorski and Pat Hackett disagreeing on the issue of healthcare, gun control, and abortion, and a wide variety of other issues. Pat Hackett really made her campaign theme that of dignity and justice for all. So she focused a lot more on rights for women, including reproductive rights, although that's not an issue she highlights a lot. It is part of her platform that makes her quite different from Representative Walorski. It also meant LGBT rights. Of course, Pat Hackett herself is in a same-sex marriage, and so she really has supported rights for minority populations. Representative Walorski is focused much more on the economic issues and arguing that we need to continue the Trump presidency and the Republican policy of tax cuts and deregulation, and that's what will spur our economy and allow us to recover. In contrast, we see that Pat Hackett wanted more of a safety net, fewer tax breaks for the wealthy, and more aid to people in need. And so we really saw a lot of the differences between President Trump and Joe Biden's policy platforms reflected in the platforms of these two candidates. So we hear a lot of the same talking points from the National Republican Party of accusing the Democrats of wanting to bring socialism, or they sometimes conflate this social democracy with communism, to the United States. And so that really sort of powerful message was one that Representative Walorski used, and that does resonate with many of the more libertarian-minded and conservative voters in Indiana.
This is All In. I'm Matt Belser. Today we're having a discussion on Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett, who has some significant ties to Indiana, having graduated from Notre Dame Law School and later serving on the faculty there, as well as editing the Notre Dame Law Review.
With hearings scheduled to start at the beginning of next month, Judge Amy Coney Barrett's judicial record and philosophy will be front and center. The other major concern among Democrats is Barrett's views on the Affordable Care Act. Barrett hasn't ruled on any cases dealing with the ACA, but criticized Chief Justice John Roberts for voting to uphold the law in 2012.
I'm deeply concerned with her extreme views that could take away health insurance for millions, particularly in the context of a pandemic.
Pat Hackett is running for Indiana's 2nd Congressional District seat and is an adjunct professor at the University of Notre Dame. Hackett says on top of her problems with Judge Barrett's legal stances, she says the nomination process is hypocritical. Her challenger, sitting Congresswoman Jackie Walorski, saying,
We can think of no one better qualified to serve on the nation's highest court than our fellow Hoosier Judge Barrett. Her record as a law professor and appellate judge demonstrates her first-rate legal mind and her unwavering commitment to constitutional principles. She graduated summa cum laude and first in her class at Notre Dame Law School, clerked for Justice Antonin Scalia, and returned to her alma mater as a highly respected professor. In 2017, she was confirmed by the Senate on a bipartisan vote as judge on the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals, where she currently serves. Finally, Judge Barrett is a woman of faith and a dedicated mother of 7. Given her impeccable credentials, she should be qualified and confirmed without delay.
You must find a way to get in the way. You must find a way to get in trouble, good trouble, necessary trouble.